5:30, I call this meeting of the Pittsburg City Commission to order. Will you please join me for our invocation tonight from Pete Mayo of Via Christi.
Let us pray. Blessed are you, Lord God of wisdom and justice. You guide and govern with order and love. Through you, authority is rightly administered, community voices are heard, and the common good is served. Look upon this assembly of our city leaders. Assist them with your guidance in today's agenda discussions. May they always arrive at what is best for our community. We pray also for beneficial weather, for the needs of the most vulnerable in our community, for the protection and blessing of our city and all who dwell here. And we give you thanks for all our blessings. Amen.
Join me in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a couple proclamations tonight. Luann, would you join me? The first proclamation. Whereas on July 26, 1990, President George H.W. Bush signed into law the Americans with Disability Act, ADA, to ensure the civil rights of people with disabilities, and whereas this legislation established a clear and comprehensive national mandate for the elimination of discrimination against individuals with disability. And whereas on July 26, 2015, we will celebrate the 25th anniversary of the signing of the ADA. And whereas the ADA has expanded opportunities for Americans with disabilities by reducing barriers and changing perception and increasing full participation in the community life, and whereas the full promise of the ADA will only be reached if we remain committed to continue our efforts to fully implement the ADA. And whereas the 25th anniversary of the passage of the Americans with Disability Act is a time to celebrate and recognize the progress that has been made, reaffirming the principles of equality, inclusion, and recommitting our efforts to reach full ADA compliance. Now, therefore, I, Chuck Munsell, Mayor of the City of Pittsburg, Kansas, do hereby recognize and celebrate the progress that has been made under the Americans with Disability Acts, and reaffirm our determination to attain a community that affords independence, justice, and dignity for all. Thank you.
On behalf of Skill and the disability community, we would like to say thank you to Mayor Munsell, the City Commissioners, and the City of Pittsburgh for their support of the disability community. It's very evident here in Pittsburgh, the support that is shown. We recently just had the dedication and ribbon cutting for Catherine's Playground, which is the only accessible, inclusive playground in Southeast Kansas. This was almost an 8-year project that we finally completed, and it was a very exciting day. And this would not have been possible without the support of the City of Pittsburgh and its residents. And then also the recent formation of the Active Transportation Advisory Board. Both of these events and these different groups help show the commitment to Pittsburgh so that our disabled and elderly can fully participate in the community. With the 25th anniversary, we have reached many milestones, but there is still some room to continue to grow in this area, and we just appreciate the dedication of Pittsburgh and its residents to the disability community and the elderly. Thank you.
Is Sage Munkin here? Could you come up, please? Next proclamation. Whereas the Shrine Bowl of Kansas, Inc., sponsored by 5 shrine centers of Kansas, namely Abdallah of Lowland Park, Arab of Topeka, Isis of Salina, Median of Wichita, and Mirza of Pittsburgh, will sponsor their 42nd annual All-Star football game on July 25, 2015 in Hays, Kansas, and continue their tradition of philanthropy. And whereas for over 90 years, the ancient Arabic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine of North America, through its network of hospitals, has treated over 865,000 children with orthopedic disabilities. In more recent years, treated thousands of severely burned children through its Burn Institute. And whereas the citizens of the city of Pittsburgh may aid this worthy and impartial work and further the efforts of this great charity in their support of this philanthropic event to favor the unfortunate children, regardless of race and creed. Whereas All-Star Sage Munkin of Pittsburgh High School will be representing the city of Pittsburgh in its 42nd annual Shrine Bowl game. Now, therefore, I, Chuck Mansell, Mayor of the city of Pittsburgh, Kansas, do hereby proclaim July 25th, 2015 as Kansas All-Star Football Shrine Bowl Day.
I'd like to thank everybody. It's a great honor to be able to represent Pittsburgh in the Shrine Bowl, and it's an honor. Thank you very much.
We've scheduled public input tonight. Erica Wilson, representing the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, will provide information regarding the Trap, Neuter, and Release program. Erica.
This is Elizabeth Coots, and she is a board member of Paw Prints on the Heartland. This program is actually through Paw Prints on the Heartland. We have 2 separate entities. They have 2 separate tax IDs. So this is a lot of the same people involved, but this is in a different organization. And she's just going to give you some background about the TNR program. We've been doing this for over 3 years. We've had great success with it, and we want to continue to have that success.
Thank you, Mayor Munsell, and thank you, Commissioners, for letting us do this. I appreciate it. Again, I'm Elizabeth Coots. I am a volunteer with the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, and I'm on the board of Paw Prints on the Heartland, which is a sister organization to the Southeast Kansas Humane Society. Paw Prints on the Heartland is a separate entity that has its own nonprofit organization status. The organization does low-cost spay and neuter to Southeast Kansas. So the reason why we're here today is to talk to you about a program through the Trap, Neuter, Release through Paw Prints. TNR, which means Trap, Neuter, Return. What we've noticed in Pittsburgh, Kansas, is a lot of feral cats. Whether you realize it or not, there are thousands and thousands of stray cats in the city of Pittsburgh. So they're not socialized to people. These, unfortunately, are animals that have been pushed out, left to fend for themselves. They become afraid of people, but they come close. They find a place to eat, drink, and have some shelter. So these are animals, these are cats that do not become pets. They're a nuisance. And you guys have gotten, over the last year, I think it was 192 nuisance calls. You know, a lot of these are cats, and I also know that the animal control does not do anything with cats. So a colony, you know, cats will come together and form a colony in an area, like behind Walmart, Brahms, behind, Sonic. All these places we've been going through and trapping. So the colony will reproduce at an alarming rate. According to the Alley Cat Allies, which is a national organization, one cat over a 7-year period from all the cats that they will come into contact with is 420,000. One cat. So, you know, we've done this for the city of Pittsburgh for the last 3 to 4 years. We've been doing trap, neuter, return with volunteers, a lot of our own money. So It's a humane way. The feral cats, we take them to the local veterinarian. They're spayed and neutered. Their ears are tipped so we can see it, and they're returned. This helps control the pet population in the area. This also, cats are very territorial. There's something called the vacuum effect. If you remove cats from an area, other cats will move back in. So what we do is we trap, neuter, and then we return them to where they are. They know where they are. They can't be socialized. We cannot make pets of them. Whether you notice it or not, we've been doing a huge job. So the trap, neuter, release, it stops the breeding cycle. It stops the nuisances. Nobody's calling because they've got cats roaming around. They have cats yowling. Their cats going to the bathroom in their yard. They're digging up their garden. They're spraying. Once they're spayed and neutered, they usually tend to stay within a colony. And once they're spayed and neutered, the yowling pretty much stops, and the spraying, that odor is gone. That's huge for a lot of people in town. So right now, let's see, this will mean, less calls to animal control and less nuisance calls for the city. So right now, if someone calls the city hands it over usually to the animal control calls the Humane Society calls Paw Prints or one of us. We usually go out. We're volunteers. We do this on our own time. We have one part-time paid position to help us with this because it's an enormous undertaking. A lot of us put a lot of money out of our own pockets. 2 years ago, we came before the City Commission again to ask for help with the Trap, Neuter, Release program. It was declined basically because we had received grant money. Due to Erica, we managed to get 2 years of grant money for $17,500. That was 500 cats over 2 years. In the 2-year period, we trapped, spayed, and neutered over 1,200 cats. Think about 1,200 cats. And most of these people here have done the trapping and the spaying and neutering and then the returning and then the talking to people, educating people in the community, letting them know, what is a good time to put food out. Make sure they pick the food up. We don't want little critters coming in. That's what's happening. Cats get into garbage if there's no place to feed. Cats will also keep down rodents. Cats, however, cannot live on rodents alone. They must be fed and watered. If they don't have fresh food and water, they become too weak and they can't do it. They start dying, and people start calling because all you then have to do is come and pick up animals, dead animals. So what we're trying to do is the 1,200 cats in the 2 years was inside the city limits of Pittsburgh. That was our main goal. We have tried to take care of certain areas going through, and it's almost door to door sometimes. It's quite a huge undertaking. Also, the kittens, they have litters and litters and litters of kittens. So I myself last year had 30 kittens. We pick them up when they're very small. We get them spayed and neutered. We raise them. We socialize them. We find them homes. Janelle Phipps over here, over a year's time, has had 98 kittens we've taken off the streets of Pittsburgh. So now, unfortunately, we've run out of funding. So when we take an animal to the vet, we take them to local vets in the area, we pay $40 for them to be spayed and neutered. That is barely breaking even. Getting an animal spayed and neutered at the regular vet is much more expensive. These are animals that would never go in to a veterinarian because they are partially wild. You can't touch them usually, or if you try to pick them up, you'll regret it. So they'll scratch you because they're frightened. And that's their first main of defense, bite and scratch. Been bitten and scratched a lot. But if we're careful, we don't have a problem. That's why we use the TNR program. That's why we use the Have a Heart traps. So, but this doesn't count for the food, the litter, medications. All this did, we just used it for the spay and neuter. So what we're asking the city to do is to partner with us, Paw Prints on the Heartland. And what we're asking for, it costs us $40 for each cat. We're asking for $20 a cat, 300 cats a year. That'll be the max that we would ask you for. We would come up with the other $20. We would supply the part-time person, We supply all the other, all our volunteers, all our own costs. This is a lot of money that we're laying out to try to help. But this has made a difference to the city. You don't have a lot of cats being seen in town roaming around, yelling, causing a problem. And this is a big deal for a lot of people. Whether you like cats or you cannot possibly stand them, it doesn't matter. This is a win situation for everybody. We control the population because it is growing exponentially as we speak. I know Janelle spent this morning trying to pick up 3 females from one location that couldn't afford to have more kittens. They'd already had several litters. She spent all day out there on her own time, her day off, and she got them. But it was an all-day affair. I mean, a lot of us are up at midnight, trying to use the traps. So what we're doing is asking for the max of 300 cats a year, $20 a cat, which is roughly about $6,000 a year for the next several years, or until we can secure more funding. So the money will only be used to pay for the spay and neuter. It will not encompass anything else. All the other costs, we will somehow find a way to cover it. So domestic cats are constantly being abandoned and shoved out the doors. It's not their fault. The city of Pittsburgh, people in Pittsburgh, unfortunately, have created the problem. We're trying to help you fix it, and we've been doing it by ourselves for the last 3 or 4 years. Investing in the TNR program, it demonstrates a socially responsible, a compassionate, and efficient approach to the feral cat population. This is being done all over the country. The fact that we even have a spay-neuter van is one of the very few, if maybe the only one, in the state of Kansas. We have a clinic out at the Humane Society. We have a mobile unit that goes around to different areas. But we are only talking about the paw prints, TNR, that is all. Now, if you'd like to fund the entire program, we would love that. We would also love if you, helped out with the Humane Society. But right now, we're just talking about this TNR program to cut down on the feral cat population to stop the breeding. Once we put them back in there, they live their lives out, and they're not reproducing. So this is huge. This, however, is not a situation that we can wait. We can't wait till next year. We can barely wait till next month. We have a list of 30 people here in this Pittsburgh. We have their names, addresses that are on a waiting list for us to get there with traps because they have feral cats they can't touch, they can't pick up, they have to be trapped by somebody who understands how to do it. So we have a waiting list. We'd be happy to share it with you if any of you would like to take it and do it yourself. However, we're willing to do it, but we have to have the help. We are at the end of our financial rope. We're hanging on by a thread. If we don't get it, we're not going to be able to continue. We just don't have enough money to go around. And we are using local vets. We have contracts with, I believe, 13 clinics in the area. Like I said, these are animals that would never have been spayed or neutered. So we are asking, please take it under advisement. We've worked so hard. We have, last 2 years, 1,200 cats. If we stop now, we're going to lose our momentum. We've got it on the run. We've seen a lowering of the amount of cats that are coming into the Humane Society. We're making a difference. But the city's going to have to help us help you. So I appreciate you listening. I'm open to questions. I believe that Erica passed these out to you that has a lot of the information in it. If there's anything that we can answer questions for, please let us know. But please take into consideration that it can't wait. It is a dire straits that we're in. We wouldn't have come and asked if we had no other recourse. We have been doing our best. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Any comments for the group? I'd just like to thank you for all your hard work. Let us think about this. At the next meeting, we finalize our budget. We'll see what we can come up with at that time. I'm not sure. I know, that's a lot of money, and we got a big city that also needs some other things taken care of, but we try to help us what we can. Thank you tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, come forward. State your name and address.
Frank Smarno. This is not just about money. I have a representative that's been helping me. I'm not supposed to talk about who it is or anything like that because they're kind of shy, but they've been helping me out for about a year. We got hundreds of cats in my neighborhood, and we're trying to get them under control. But you can't imagine the time and money that's spent. This young lady stays up all night sometimes, working like from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. trying to catch cats. And we just she just needs some help. And I remember that during when the city was having the 2030 conferences about the future of Pittsburgh, there were a number of people that came out and complained about the numbers of cats. They said, we got to do something. Well, we're doing something. We need some help. These people aren't in it for the money, that's for sure. Like I said, my representative, I know she spent hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars a year trying to volunteer. And we just beg for your help. And we thank you very much.
Frank, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on the topic? Moving on, is there any other public input on any other topic you'd like to come forward tonight? Seeing none, I move to the consent agenda. Are any items to be removed for discussion?
To be removed, I'll move to...
I'd like to remove item B.
Okay, sorry, Chuck.
Which item?
Which item, Chuck?
B?
B as in boy?
Boy, yeah.
Okay. I'll move to approve with the exception of B.
Second. All in favor? Or is that roll call?
Gray?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Ketterman?
Aye.
Munsell?
Aye.
Mernan?
Aye.
We ask item B be removed. Since we prepared the ordinance, we had one property owner that come off of there, so instead of 10 properties, there's only 9. So I just wanted to let you know with the ordinance, we go forth with 9 property owners instead of 10 on it.
And move to approve with that adjustment.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Bill. We have a special presentation tonight. Presentation of City Manager's submitted budget. City Manager Darren Hall and Director of Finance Jamie Clarkson will present the City Manager's submitted budget for 2016.
Thank you, Mayor, City Commissioners. Well, it's that time of year. So today we'll introduce the submitted budget to you. We gave it to you sometime last week, so hopefully you could start to review it. We're on a short calendar for whatever reason. July 28th seems to be the date. If we could make enough decisions and answer enough of your questions, we'd sure like to get it passed on July 28th, which gives us time to do the notification period in August that we need for 10 days to get it published and do all the rigmarole the state needs so they can adopt it. So with that, I'm going to proceed. Jay and Jamie are here to answer questions. We will be here. A few of you have already taken advantage of it, but anytime in the next 2 weeks before the next meeting, if you want to get together, you can schedule it, you can drop in, we'll drop what we're doing and get with you. Want to answer your questions and go from there. So if you'll allow me, I'll read the budget message and we'll go from there. Honorable Mayor and City Commission, I present the City of Pittsburgh's 2016 submitted budget for your consideration. The 2016 budget is predicated on several factors. We are once again facing declining valuation, which limits the amount of funds generated by our property tax and forces us to consider raising taxes or cutting service levels. While the decrease is a modest negative 0.11%, it is consistent with the pattern since 2009 of declining value of our city property. When coupled with insufficient general fund reserves and ever-increasing fixed costs for state pension funds, health and work comp insurance, utilities, and street lighting, our challenge is significant. Our options for addressing these factors are limited as well. Beginning in 2018, recent legislation by the state will cap any property tax increase by the City Commission, further limiting our elected officials' power to meet the needs of the community. It is for these reasons the proposed budget includes a $2 million increase to the property tax and a 1% increase to utility rates. These modest increases, along with strategic application of technology and organizational efficiencies, allow us to maintain service levels consistent with previous years while continuing the the critical initiative to build the city's reserves. Despite challenges, the city will continue to provide clean water, effective sewage removal, superior police and fire protection, remarkable recreational opportunities, and solid leadership. Our residential and commercial markets are continuing to grow, and we are committed as ever to investing in existing and new businesses to create quality jobs for our residents. In 2016, we will witness the addition of 200 new hotel rooms, a casino, 400 new apartment units, and new housing. We continue to add retail and dining options for our citizens and visitors alike. Internally, our organization is changing as well. Due to retirements and employee transitions, we have the opportunity to realign our resources, to maximize our efforts, and better manage our scarce resources. For the first time in many years, we have hired a city engineer, and with our commitment to increasing our employee skills rather than depending on outside contractors, we believe we can provide an increased service level at an overall savings for professional services and the related work. We continue to aggressively pursue cost control changes. We will have sufficient data to finally determine the correct health insurance options for our employees, introducing a plan that will meet their needs while containing overall costs paid by the taxpayers. We will also incorporate our recently acquired work order and asset management system citywide to assign and track our work, which will allow us to continuously make better decisions regarding service delivery. We look forward to all the challenges facing Pittsburgh in 2016 and beyond, and will continue to work to provide the best service possible in the most efficient manner. The following detailed budget is presented for your consideration. Thank you for your time and your leadership as this budget was constructed with your input over the past several months. Respectfully, Darren Hall. And with that, hopefully none of this is news to you, but we've tried to create a pattern of giving you information. We know these are tough decisions to make. There's a lot of them. We're talking about, I think, $34 million in revenues, and when you get done with all the accounting and transferring, it's a big budget. It's an increase from last year, but I think it's very consistent with the level of service the community is expecting and the one that we're committed to delivering. And with that, I've asked Jay and Jamie to be up here, and I think most of the staff is represented, so we'd be happy to answer any questions, or like I said, we can, help you anytime in the next 2 weeks, but we're definitely looking at July 28th, if at all possible, to get this thing moved through. And thanks for your time and your help so far.
Thank you, Darren.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any questions for Jay or Jamie? All right.
I have a comment. I would strongly encourage anybody watching or anybody involved to take a look at this document. It is an incredibly easy to understand document. It's very comprehensive. If there was ever a question about where your individual tax dollars go, it's explained quite clearly in this document, and it's available to anybody. What I think is exceptional and why it's easy for me to make the decision that I've already made to support this request in this budget is the simple fact that it is totally integrated performance standards. It's clearly defined where human resources are placed, which is the largest part of the entire budget. And also, it is taken into account the past and the future. This is not just what's happening today. And any organization worth its salt will always use that model for planning. The other thing that I want to comment on in this particular document is that I sometimes get perturbed by folks who think there's a lot of waste in city government, in Pittsburgh city government. I can't speak to anything else. I would strongly encourage those folks who believe that to look line item by line item and offer to us suggestions where you think waste could be improved. I know there's always opportunities, and sometimes I may not see it, but I'm not seeing much in here. I'm not seeing any in here, actually, as a matter of fact. So I hope we can bring this to a close quickly. We need to get on to the business of the city, and I'm hoping next meeting we'll be able to take a vote and support this application or this budget.
Anything else? All right, moving on. Consider the following. Memorandum of Understanding. Pittsburg State University considers a memorandum of understanding between the City of Pittsburg and Pittsburg State University regarding law enforcement services within the city limits of Pittsburg.
Mindy?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This MOU with the University Police Department is really nothing new. We've had one in place for many years. But in review of our current MOU, we noted that it was seriously dated, didn't even have appropriate signatures. So we took a look at it and noticed right away that it did not reflect any of the recent federal requirements regarding mandated reporting, data collection, early warning notifications on campus, and the overall just sharing of information was missing. So we got together with PSU city staff, or PSU and our city staff got together and we reworked the MOU. It's been well vetted by our attorneys, and that's what you've been presented with is the final draft. So we're asking you tonight to accept it as written so that we can proceed forward with signage and get it implemented.
Any questions?
I'll move to approve.
Is there a
Thank you.
second?
I'll second.
It's been moved to approve and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Considering FAA grant achievement, staff is requesting the governing body to accept the grant offered from the FAA for Airport Improvement Program, AIP, project number 3-200069-015-2015 at the Atkinson Municipal Airport.
Mayor, Commissioners, this is for the design of the mill and overlay of our main runway, which is runway 1634. We need to get that in shape, and then hopefully in the future we'll get the ability to move forward with the extension of the runway on the north end. That's kind of where we want to be at. But this is the first of the items that need to be accomplished. This is for the design only. When this is done, then it will be ready to be, it will be bid, and then we would hope to get a grant offer from FAA that says, okay, proceed with the mill and overlay of the project. The cost of this is the $100,000 and whatever $1,000. Of that, the city pays 10%. It's a 90-10. We also have to pay for the disability enterprise document that has to be prepared with any federal document. So that's at our expense, and it's not eligible for reimbursement. But it's like $3,000 for that document, which Lochner will be our consultant on this, and we're asking permission to proceed with that.
Question for Bill. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Bill.
Airport Advisory Committee appointment. Gary Iori as a member of the Airport Advisory Committee, has submitted a letter of resignation stating personal reason. Mr. Iori is currently serving as a user on the committee and is serving a second term to expire December 31st, 2016. Since Mr. Iori is serving as user, it will be necessary to appoint an individual to the committee that is also a user at the Atkinson Municipal Airport.
Fortunately, Mayor, we only have one ballot this time, because usually we have 3 or 4, and we end up kind of screwing it up somehow. So you've got a ballot in front of you. I believe there's 3 names. If you'd mark it, I'll collect them, and we'll appoint a new member to replace the outgoing member. All right, it looks like Robert Downing is appointed to the new position. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need to approve anything, or since we've already voted, is it done?
Typically, your vote would be enough if you
No, I don't necessarily want to. I'm just, that's fine.
Since I usually get it wrong, you're making sure we get it right for once.
No, we're good.
We're good.
Non-agenda reports and questions. Director of Finance Jamie Clarkson will present the June 2015 bi-monthly budget report. Jamie.
Good evening. I'll try to be brief here. As usual, the green's good and the red's not so good. Everything's doing really well. The only little flag I've got so far is in the utilities. Our water sales are down about 2% for the year, but that's due to all the rains we've got in the last couple months. But this week we've kind of turned the corner on rain, I think, for a while. The public utilities expenses is just a little bit over, but that's mainly due to the some debt servicing that falls twice a year, and it just kind of skews things. General fund, we got 57% of revenues halfway through the year, and we're 47% on expenditures, so we're good on the general fund. Sales tax revenue through June's up 2.63% from last year. I'm estimating 3% for the year. Hopefully we'll get the 3% by December. Anybody got any questions on anything else?
A lot of green.
Yep.
That's good.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Good job, Jamie.
An executive session has been scheduled for this commission meeting. An executive session is necessary for discussion deemed privilege in attorney-client relationship. Is there a motion to recess into executive session for approximately 30 minutes for discussion deemed privilege in the attorney-client relationship?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We are.
All in favor?
Oh. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We recess to executive session no longer than 30 minutes. Thank you.
I will. Thank you.
38. Thirty minutes.
I would make a motion for a 30-minute executive session for matters pertaining to attorney-client privilege.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you. 7:08.
Oh, we don't have to wait on it?
No, we don't have to wait on that.
All right. We're back from executive session. No decisions were made, no votes were taken. I entertain a motion to adjourn. I have a second. We have a motion and a second. All All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion
Thanks,
carries.
everybody.
We are adjourned.
Yep. Thank you very much.